Ooh, shout out to everybody in the chat. I see all these beautiful, wonderful members. Look, Wim said he is present. Probably the first one in the chat. Shout out to Wim. I got Vic in the house. I got Nebulous. I've got Words, Lane, Inquisitive, Tia. Who else is in the house? Linda, Liz, Good Gumby, Tammy. Oh my God, Chico, my beautiful member and my mod. Shout out to all my. I know Vic is out here too. Shout out to Vic, my member and mod. Who else? Queen Bella, Nebulous, of course. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Kitten is in the house. Shout out to Kitten. All right, everybody else coming on in? Cole. I see Cole. I see Lane. Who else? Yes, everybody come on in. Make sure you're hitting that like button, guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button while you're coming in. And of course, you guys are gonna have to definitely sit back and watch some of this stuff. Listen, I want to say a good month ago, I was watching two of my big favorite creators, Popcorn Planet. Okay, Andy, shout out to him, as well as Sloan. You guys know I love me some Sloan. And they were showing the story of David. Now, you guys know how I am as a as a social worker. I am the advocate at heart. I see a story that I want to pick up. I see opportunity for somebody, to bring people up and tell them the story, especially if they're being bullied by a big monster. And in this case, I think it's the industry. Let me start by having you guys watch this TikTok and tell me your thoughts in the comments. I did put a poll because I want to understand if you guys are Kim K fans in the house. I mean, if that's the case, we're going to be talking about your girl. We're going to be talking about your girl, and you might not like the rabbit, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, but I can live with that because, we're talking about some serious stuff over here. Okay. Oh, all right. I got 56 votes so far. I asked, are you a Kim Kardashian fan? And let's see. We got, ooh, why isn't this poll working? Okay, I see it. 84% said no, and 16% said yes. Well, all right then. Sit back. Let me know your thoughts as this is going on. Let me go ahead and play this TikTok, and here we go.
Hey TikTok, my name is David Liebensohn, a once successful business owner, now sleeping in my car. Some of you may recognize me from a story that Kyla Zhao put out a few days ago. To be honest, I didn't expect all this attention so quickly after launching my website, KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com, just a week ago. I'm embarrassed to admit that I wasn't exactly prepared for the amount of views, over 300,000 clicks on the website in just a week. For those that don't know, I was a self-made entrepreneur who founded my own startups, one of which Kim Kardashian stole. I tried to sue her for fraud, but that didn't work out for multiple reasons. My attorney at the time, for some reason, started suggesting I voluntarily withdraw the lawsuit and try arbitration instead. He said maybe he can sort it out on the golf course with their family attorney. Then Kim and Kris decided to kick me when I was down. When I didn't follow through with arbitration, I got other advice that was a bad idea. They had their attorneys send process servers to serve me papers to pay their 400,000 in legal fees, harassing my family. There's a lot to this. There's going to be more parts coming soon. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, TikTok.
This is part one, and then you did a second part right here.
So this whole thing started when I had a phone case company startup with my cousin Dan. We had a pretty large following Instagram page when Instagram was a fairly new platform, and we were having a hard time keeping up with the feed. So we started an app named Censorgram for ourselves, but we put it on the App Store to see if it would be useful for other people. And we marketed it to as many high profile pages as possible, and to see if they would and use it and spread the word. And so Kardashian had sent her friend Jonathan Chebin through direct messages to reach out and try to see if we'd partner, and he threw a percentage out, and it was just kind of, we couldn't really move past that first contact. But then shortly after, he reached back out and said her Hollywood game was doing big numbers, a couple 100 million, and they were really wanting to talk. And so he set it up for me to talk to her and for her to call me on my phone the next day. And so we had that conversation, a lengthy conversation, and before I actually went out to California for the meeting. But I'll get to all that later. There's so much. Thanks for all the support, guys.
Absolutely.
So this whole
Let me
thing
stop
started
this
when
real
I had a
quick.
phone case.
All right. So if you guys can help me welcome Mr. David, I have him here backstage. Let's bring him up. How are you? I think you're muted. Give me one sec.
Oh wait, there we go. Could you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
All right, good. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I am so, first of all, I just want to thank you so much because I've been watching and I was like, I'm just going to reach out to him and see, we're a little house over here and we're growing, but, anything that we can do to help spread any kind of word of the situation that you're going through. Not only that, but your story.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can to spread the word.
Absolutely. So tell me about kind of how things started. I know you've told the story, many, many times, and you guys could definitely visit the website, which is Kim Kardashian, ruinmylife.com. But if you can just give me a little short synopsis or of how you got to this point where we're at right now.
Yeah, so we had an app named Censorgram, and we were making waves with it. It was proprietary. We filed a provisional patent on the app and the process of removing unwanted comments from social media automatically. So, and Kim and her family and Jonathan Chebin, they actually were all using our app on the App Store at the time, and they reached out wanting to partner. And so we actually, made the arrangements to partner on this app. And then much later, we had pitched the Kimoji app because we had already had Wall Street emojis and sexy emojis. We were working on a few different emoji projects separate from anything with that. And we combined those projects and kind of threw it together and named it Kimoji just last minute to pitch while we were already going to be working on another project with her and her family. We just thought it was a good opportunity. And so we pitched that. It went great. They were super stoked on the Kimoji part of it. We sent them our provisional patent file and had their team sign our NDA to get our proprietary information. And somewhere in the mix, they used a text message that my partner had sent, a braggadocious text message, just basically saying, "Hey, your dream girl wants to partner with us." Just private message, nothing, malicious, no harm meant by it. They used that as an excuse to rip us off from all of our intellectual property and threaten to sue us each for $5 million each. That's kind of the gist of it.
Oh my gosh. This happened in 2014 and it has been kind of ongoing.
there's a few stages. We found out she had lied about knowing who my partner was at the time because there was an email that showed she knew his name then as Ryan versus his full name as Narayan. Then one of the other people involved that was a common friend with Jonathan Chevin and Ryan's friend Alice that was jealous of our potential partnership, the one that was sent this message. She, the guy actually came forward and said, "Hey guys, I feel really bad. I was asked to intentionally send this screenshot of this text message to Alice or to Jonathan to get it to mess your guys' deal up, and apparently it worked." So there was a couple of different things that came out through the years. Yeah, that we haven't really touched on that in a lot of podcasts or interviews, but there's so many parts of this that kind of came out through the years, and then obviously Kanye rapping about Kimoji breaking the app store, Instagram actually releasing in their settings the process that we were trying to patent, and we're wondering like, how did this happen? How did Kim Kardashian have something to do with this? We want an explanation. So it's just hard not to be kind of obsessed with this being
Absolutely.
such a huge, in your face family, unavoidable.
How did you, David, when was the first time you ever actually got in contact? You got in contact with Kim through Jonathan, her friend. I think I've seen him with her in kind of various episodes that I've watched.
Hmm.
Is that how the communication happened?
Yeah, so he reached out through direct messages on Instagram, and then when he was kind of coming at us with a large percentage, and we were still early on in our development of the rest of the platforms, and he was saying something like over 50%, and we just kind of, as excited as we were about having that attention and potential partnership with somebody so big, the Kardashian family, we reluctantly had to kind of back out of that first contact. Then he reached back out. It was like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and because back then, if I was done with somebody on direct messages, I just I removed the thread. That's Instagram was a little bit different back in 2014.
Yes.
But anyways, so he didn't have that thread or my attention anymore on the direct messages. So he went to the comments and on one of our feed posts, and he started commenting like, "Hey, Kim's game's doing big numbers. We want to talk." I put that stuff up on my website. I think I see you have it right
I
there.
see it right here. Those
Yeah.
that were asking in the chat about, well, who did you contact directly, not a representatives? I mean, it sounds like you got in contact with the friend. I mean, you got to meet Kim as well as her
Yeah,
team.
yeah, we had a phone call, 40-minute phone call. I have that recording somewhere, which we excitedly recorded the call. My daughters were teenage daughters at the time. They were, everybody was kind of excited. So just out of just like kind of holding that moment, we recorded the call. And it turned out I had to use it for, you know, all this defense anyways. But
Oh,
it was very useful because it shows how excited she is, and basically how we have a deal to meet up and make the arrangements for the partnership on Censorgram. No discussion on Kimoji whatsoever. Then we have our in-person meeting a few weeks later at the house that was on like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and everything in Hidden Hills, Calabasas area. So we went for that, and then that's where we actually made our deal. It was me, my partner Dan, which is also my cousin, Narayan, my wife at the time, their assistants, their attorney, Kris, Kim, and yeah. So I mean, it was a whole group of us, and it's that's the great thing about this is that it's just too big. People could have their doubts, but it can't just be like, hey, I'm just some guy making up some crazy story. Like this happened. It's just a matter of how big could I make this? How much noise could I make it to actually get them to have to explain themselves?
other people
For
were involved. That's my understanding, right?
Oh yeah, more way more people than just myself. Our witness list for when I filed a lawsuit in 2019, the lawsuit that didn't work out due to my attorney telling me to withdraw it, we had like 22 people on our witness list, and it was a handful of people that were pretty high profile people besides even Kim. There's still a lot of this that I haven't even discussed yet. So it
Oh,
gets bigger, believe it or not.
wow.
But
So
mainstream media is scared of it, you know.
I can understand.
The Daily Mail, the Daily Mail did one a story, but you know normally they kind of domino from there, and it's just like a bunch of other outlets will pick it up. But you know, even the dumb stuff like you know what she wore, you know, is she looking at dating a Laker, or you know just the stuff that's just so random and doesn't even really matter. But that stuff they'll repost and you know retell that story like 100 times. But my real scandalous story, you know, that has affected real human beings and changed lives for the worse, like that's a story that they don't want to touch for some reason.
right. So then when you're going through this lawsuit, your attorney says file later? I guess I'm just so confused by that. I
Well,
mean,
I was confused too. I mean, so to back up a little bit, we had two very poor offers through the
mhm.
process. So right before I filed the lawsuit in 2019, they actually offered me a small six-figure settlement and a 5% stake in future Kimoji sales. But that was not including any of the past stuff, and they were changing the name from the Kimoji business, or they were changing the trademark through KKW. Or our attorneys at the time, they said that they were negotiating on bad faith, basically. So that's what triggered the lawsuit. So once we filed the lawsuit and all the news broke from that, somehow along the way, my attorney started basically telling me that I should just hold off on the lawsuit, even though he knew I didn't have the funds to, you know, go and do some very expensive, you know, arbitration round or refile later, or you know, but he told me, hey, you know, give me a chance to sort this out on the golf course with their family attorney. You know, he said, let's try to negotiate. Let's withdraw the lawsuit voluntarily, and you can always refile later. So that's where I was at. And then once the lawsuit was withdrawn, it was all about money, money, money. You got to go to Jan's arbitration. You got to play their way, and it just kind of. I quickly realized that I was given some bad advice by my attorney, basically.
And then
And
go ahead. I'm sorry, David.
I was just gonna say, other people that I've told the story to, this particular part of the story, especially other attorneys, they're like, "Man, he got me. Like that guy got me. Like he should have never gave me that advice." And most
Oh,
likely, he, you know, because he kind of was like a fanboy over Martin Singer, which was he's their bulldog attorney. He's like the guy that defended Bill Cosby when he got accused, you know, in the beginning, and he's like one of those, he's one of the scariest attorneys on the planet, basically.
David, you
And
just got a C&D from that attorney.
I
Am I hearing?
literally
Oh
did. I'm
my
not scared of
God.
him anymore, though. I mean, you have to have something to lose to be scared of these people. They're not going to like physically harm me, so I don't care. They could threaten me with my own peril, you know, proceed at my own peril all day long. I don't care anymore. I'm going to scream from the rooftops until I blow up their spot.
Wow. So tell me about what came to your mind to say, I'm going to make a sign and I'm going to go to the street and it's going to say, Kim Kardashian ruined my life. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I
It's a
don't,
good question.
like, what even came to your mind and you said, this is what I'm going to do? Like, F them.
So,
I'm going to do this. I want to know.
well, okay, no, I mean that's good. You're asking some different questions. That's good. Usually people ask the same stuff. So basically, what had triggered this whole thing was I had a producer reach out to me from a production company, and they wanted me. They were vetting me to see if my story was going to be good for their 3-part documentary that they were doing on the you know the family. And man, by the time I got done kind of laying it all out, because the you know media didn't touch on near everything. You know, I never got a chance to really get started on the lawsuit. So their jaws were dropped. They were just like, wow, like how is this not like a freaking movie? They were like blown away. So their reaction and the fact that they couldn't even use my story because it was too much, it would have to be its own 3-part documentary, more or less. That I have to tell the story. It really lit a fire under me. Like I have to tell my story. So I didn't have access to I've been living super minimalistic through this whole fight. Like I've just been kind of in a different place. Like I it's hard to explain, but just throughout everything and finding out all the different things throughout the years, it just put me in a dark place over the years, and I just anyways, I didn't have a laptop, so I just decided, you know what? The spare time that I have when I'm in between jobs, I'm gonna build a website on my phone. I figured out that with GoDaddy's website builder, I could literally from my iPhone, I could just build this damn whole website. It's nothing crazy, just a bunch of text telling my story. I'm not a writer, so it definitely took me a while to get it, pretty cohesive. But that's what I did. I decided I'm just going to put my story on a website. I'm going to pick a website that's, clickable, that, brings, you know, people want to know, what's up with this website. And I knew that I didn't have a big budget. So I took, $50 here and there that I had extra, went to Home Depot, got some yard signs, and I just did my thing. I
Oh
just
my.
knew that eventually people are going to be like, "What's up with this?" And the right person, writer, reporter, whoever is going to read this and want to help me. And it didn't take but a week, and I was viral.
Oh my God. I'm just thinking in my mind, like, how that was brilliant, by the way. I'm
Thank
just
you. I just
brilliant.
didn't care anymore. I just realized, okay, they asked me that. This producer's like, "What could they do? Do you have any repercussions if you tell the story?" And I'm like, "Well, they could sue me," but and that kind of triggered me right there. Like, wow, like what could they do at this point? They're not going to send assassins or anything. So I mean, let's do this. I'm just gonna tell the story and show who they really are.
What is the tagline? And you said it in your TikTok. You said it's not defamation if
It's
it's
not
true.
defamation if it's the truth. Exactly.
Hmm. Oh my
Prove it.
God.
If I'm defaming you, prove it. Let's hear your side of the story and why this whole thing went down the way it did. I'd love to hear it.
What the C&D that you got, tell me a little bit about that. What was essentially, what are they saying?
Just really, they shot themselves in the foot because they try to say that Kimoji lost money. It says it lost $244,000 and that there's no upside in the business for me. So number one, they admit that, like, why are they even telling me this to begin with if I had nothing to, if they're denying that I have any kind of claim? And two, you didn't lose money. You're selling stuff with the Kimoji name on it right now. You
Kanye West
clearly,
made a song, didn't he?
yeah, like you clearly cooked the books so that way you didn't have to pay taxes. I mean, they do it all the time.
Hmm.
I mean, a lot of people do it, not just them.
Oh man.
Yeah,
How has this situation changed your life? Tell me a little bit about that. If I
man.
mean, however you could tell, I'm listening to you laugh and chuckle, but I mean, tell me how this has changed your life.
I mean, besides, trying to figure out how to fix it and recover from it and hold them accountable, my family life, quickly deteriorated after the fact. We were on a positive trajectory, a high, if you will. Everything was going where it needed to go. And then, from there, our hopes of getting our patent and our businesses that we were focused on, kind of ceased, and we couldn't really move forward with anything. And, obviously that has a strain on financially, things could have a strain on a marriage. And then, my kids were young and impressionable and really, happy about what we were doing. And they were like, impressed and proud of what, I was accomplishing for us. And then all of a sudden, they're bragging to their friends and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's gone. Like what happened? So, obviously that could all have an effect on some things.
Absolutely. Your mental health, everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If there was a message that you could send to Kim Kardashian, what would that be?
I would just ask why. Why couldn't you have just said, "Hey, I don't want to do business with you guys, but I want Kimoji. I'm gonna go a different direction with comment control, talking to Instagram, whatever." Like, just be upfront. We weren't greedy. It's not like I was gonna say, "All right, we'll give me $1 billion for Kimoji." She could have probably been like, "Hey, we'll give you $1 million for the trademark, the idea. We'll pay you to do this or that." and give you some more business from my family members, but we don't really want to work with you in this regard anymore, or whatever. Just like be straight up. Like don't screw us out of everything and affect three individuals' lives in our families. It's just like that was so messed up,
What
heartless.
what people fail to understand about the situation is that it was multiple like businesses, right? That it
Hmm.
wasn't just that it was like Censorgram and even what Instagram kind of took from you too. I mean, the people were kind of just taken from you, at least that's how I understood it is people kind of grabbed at you and took from you these entities. And I say
Yeah.
entities because they're a lot bigger than myself and you and I.
Yeah, it was a chain reaction. I mean, it's really what it was. We were working on one app that we had on the App Store, and she that's the one she wanted originally. But then when she realized that wasn't going to work out exactly how she thought it was, and Instagram wasn't going to pay $1 billion for the idea and whatever, if she got involved with it, whatever grand plan she had for the first app kind of led her to want to screw us out of the second app, which was Kimoji, because she's at that point, why am I going to, be 50-50 with these guys I don't even know if I'm not partnering on the other app? So she used an excuse to screw us out of all of it. And even though she may not have, like, I don't know what she did with the Censorgram part. She on a recording talks about how she discusses Censorgram with Kevin Systrom, the ex CEO of Instagram. So there should be some explaining as to how that colluded into them using something that they had no intention of using before. Did she make any money off of that? Like, how did that? Like, I want to understand that part, but the rest of it, like, Kimoji was just straight up fraud. She called, asked if we trademarked it. We said no, not yet. We were going to wait and do it through our new entity together. And then she said, "Oh no, we'll take care of that. Our team will do it. It's easier if we just do it ourselves." 5 minutes later, after they trademark it themselves, you could look that up and see literally when they did it. It's public information. Then 5 minutes later, she calls back and she fakes acting like we messed up and sent a text message like we shouldn't have, and the deal's done. And now we get a threat for 5 million each. Give me everything you got, or else I'm going to sue you.
Yeah, oh
Yeah,
my God.
sorry. I get a little ranty when it comes to this.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, can you imagine? Listen, somebody suing you for 5 million. Who has 5 million? Just kind of
I thought we did something wrong. Like, I don't
right.
know what this guy, this huge big shot lawyer's telling me, like, hey, blah blah blah, this and this violation, that violation, like, this is what you did. I'm gonna sue you. You're gonna lose everything you got. You'll be on the streets. Blah blah blah. If you don't sign over this app that we didn't even have in existence yet, the Kimoji app. But also the biggest thing here was they couldn't just take Kimoji, and they had to make sure that even though it was proprietary and we were patenting this, oh, by the way, my client has to have the right to do her own comment control app as well. So it basically just makes anything we try to do useless now.
Oh man, you are
Yeah,
not the only business entrepreneur that I mean, their business practices are so shady, and they kind of use these people, attorneys, to do their bidding, and there's arbitration and there's all this. I mean, have you heard of any other stories similar to yours, and or have you connected with other folks?
absolutely. Actually, I'm talking to somebody right now that wants to come forward. We're just making arrangements for them to be assured that their confidentiality agreement is going to be defended. They can't afford when they violate this. If they are, uh, came after by the Jenner clan, they need to be defended. And I do have a very large entity that is behind me. Um, it's not anything like really formal yet. They they need more people to come forward. We need
Yeah.
more people. I need help finding more people. I know there's a lot out there already in the media. I've contacted a lot of them during my lawsuit, but they either didn't reply or they said they were under confidentiality and they couldn't speak with me. But now that there's somebody that is willing to defend everyone, even if it's 10 of us, and it costs $10 million for the legal, defense for everybody to come forward and pull their card once and for all, they'll do it and they're ready and excited to do it. I just have to find these people.
When you say that they're under, like, are people scared to speak out?
Oh yeah, that's their MO. This is what they do. They get what they want, and then they use either a settlement or something you did wrong, or you would have to prove that you didn't do wrong as leverage to take what they want from you. This is what they do. There's so many instances where they just do what they want. They walk right through people, take whatever they want, and then basically, since it's not criminal and it's a civil situation, you have to outspend them or keep up with them spending wise in your legal defense or offense in order to play the game. That's just, it is what it is. People have been doing this for years, but especially this particular family, I'm going to go ahead and say arguably throughout the 2010s at least, this family has built their wealth off the backs of people like me.
Yes.
The video game deal before this, where Kim thought she was a tech mogul because of it, they made hundreds of millions. That's what Jonathan was talking about in my comments on the in the screenshot I put up.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that was another company's idea, and they had to have it, and they basically did the same thing they did to me. And that's that Glue Mobile, the people that were behind Mortal Kombat and some of these other, like, that company, somebody that was involved in that, I would love to have them come forward. That was settled and dealt with back then, even before 2014, before my case. But those are the types of cases where people need to come forward and speak on, because that shows a pattern. That's what the people that are backing me, they want to show the pattern of them doing this type of thing.
David, are you thinking about some, like, class action? Is that what I'm hearing?
I can't really speak on it, but it's almost bigger than that.
Okay.
It's almost, it's kind of like that, but it's almost bigger than that. It's kind of giving them a taste of their own medicine in a way.
Yeah. My goodness.
So this could get really big. It's just I got to get my voice out there. And people keep telling me they want me to put up billboards and they want me to do this and do that, and I want to. Definitely not the type to ask for donations, but at this point, because I am still working and doing everything that I can to keep myself going in the process in between all this, but just getting this funded, getting people involved, getting more people involved and helping me, that's going to be what takes us to the next level. Getting my voice out there so that way people understand that they could come forward.
Mm-hmm.
If you've worked for them, if you've been partners with one of them and you've had a bad experience, even if you were, working in a restaurant and you had a really bad experience with them treating you like trash, that's just anything. Just like bring your story forward.
What's so interesting is that I hear this a lot too. It's usually the babysitters or there's a lot of it. These people employ a lot of people.
They do.
And I've heard, there's been articles out there that they just, wages is an issue. They treat them like shit. Like when you work with these billionaires, the Kardashians being one of them. So it's just so, even people are asking about Ray J.
Yeah.
That's another example though, because it happened. Chico says it took Ray J so long. I would have to agree.
I'd love for Ray J to come forward. If Ray J could come forward and say, hey, I need X amount of money and I'll come pull all their cards right now, these people might be like, all right, you got it. So I'm telling you, anybody, even you, Ray J, come forward, like talk to me. I'll sign something to say that our conversation won't go anywhere unless, we have certain things met. But
somebody clip this and send it to Ray J and see what he says,
Oh, my supporter has been blowing Ray J up. He probably hates it.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, David, how do you, so how do we best support you? Share the website is number one, and I know I don't think you have a GoFundMe, but I do see the merch.
So there is an Indiegogo. Yeah, you could actually buy merch on the website now. And we're releasing a Cancel the Kardashians shirt as well. And that website, cancelthekardashians.com, also links to my main site. I'm trying to spread it out a little bit. But so buying a shirt helps. Just any kind of donation that you can make through my link tree or what's available on the website, that helps. Um, I had some people in the beginning helping guide me, and they suggested I do an Indiegogo campaign for crowdfunding, and that's
Mhm.
gotten a little bit of traction. I just don't have access to that until like 15 days after the campaign, so it wasn't really
Okay.
useful for anything now, but there's a petition, change.org petition. I mean, really just anything, even just getting on my social media pages and sharing my posts, anything you guys could do to help, I appreciate.
Mhm. Definitely. I appreciate you. First of all, I love that. Oh, absolutely. Look at everybody's in here saying that they're happy that you're getting a platform. Never trusted the Kardashians. They seem like right to me. And listen, I
Thank
was
you.
over them in the early late 2000s. I said, okay, great show, moving on, and they just kept going on and on. Um, but I've definitely feel like in the last, especially the last 2 3 years, it seems like they have taken over so much so that it's made everybody, it's just a weird vibe that I think that it's given off with them. I mean, I don't follow them, I don't.
Yeah, I think a lot of the newer generations, they're kind of over it.
We're
I'm seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, right? I'm a millennial, so I'm coming from like, getting away from that, but I mean, I
Hmm.
don't the younger generations, and I'm looking over there because I'm looking at them, they're not really into any either the Jenners as well.
Mm.
They're just not that popular anymore.
No, I think it's on the downslope now, and I think maybe this could be a great time for me to, you know, finally decided to do something about this.
Absolutely. And it's who was it? The one that was not who did she say she invent tequila or something like that? One of them was trying to like brand name the tequila. One of them. One of the
Was it Kylie? Was it
was
one of
it
her deals?
who was it the guys in the chat? Who was it the one that was trying to take the tequila and then my people got mad, the Mexicans got mad because they tried to do a little too much with the tequila and we were like, what the heck? Anyways, that's my rant. But I don't follow them, David. Oh my God, David. Okay, so I'll definitely be buying a shirt. I'm gonna be wearing it here on a live one of these days, so you guys, can.
Awesome.
Yeah, Kendall Jenner. That's who it was with the
Oh,
tequila.
okay. Okay.
That's. I was like, what's up with the tequila? She tried to like start one or something, and I don't know. She is not a Patron, not a salsa, so she really doesn't know her tequilas.
Weird.
Um,
She's the most quiet one.
and she's the most quiet one. Lord have mercy. Look, I don't know. All of them, including the mom. I cannot.
She's the ringleader.
Is she? I mean, I've heard, she presents herself to be one way and then really she's something else. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Are you at all scared, David? I mean, at all? I mean, are you worried? Are you scared?
No, I mean I've had a few actual threats to my life on my website, but I don't take them seriously. I mean, really,
I'm,
I don't have an address that I'm stuck right now where anybody could just like find me. So I mean, good luck finding me anyways. I'm always moving around.
oh my gosh.
But
People want,
I don't take that serious.
well, I mean, listen, the whole Illuminati thing, you say that too. That's why I'm like, uh, stay away. Um, People want to know, you don't have a YouTube or anything like that, do you?
I have one, but it's just for the Indiegogo
Gotcha.
video, but mostly the TikTok and my new Instagram page I'm building back up.
Awesome. David, is there
Hmm.
any, well, and if you do build up a YouTube, let me know because we'll definitely share it here so people can, follow
Sweet.
you.
Okay. Thank you.
Um, Anything you want to tell us? Anything
Just
else?
I'm very appreciative. I'm
Abs
overwhelmed with all the support from everyone.
Anything we can do. I mean, listen, I'm like I said, I'm just a little, rabbit over here, little channel and stuff. I got but I got a lot of supporters here and a lot of people that um definitely advocate, we're the underdogs.
Awesome.
So that's what we do and
Well,
whatever we can
that's
do.
what I'm looking for. That's my audience. So I'm super appreciative.
Awesome. I'm just saying it takes a lot. It's very ballsy to do up a sign from Home Depot and just start walking the streets and putting that. I just don't. I Shout out to you for doing that.
Thank you.
I admire that. I don't know if I could do something like that. So it's really
Definitely,
cool.
you had to like
realize that there may be some embarrassment involved. But at this point, I don't
It
care.
worked.
Hmm.
It worked. You got everybody's attention. Oh my gosh. Well, David, thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you sharing your story. I'm going to link all your information. You guys check out the description box. You guys can find David on IG and on TikTok, and that will also be in the description box. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.
You too.
Ooh, what did you guys think? Oh my gosh. Uh you guys gotta rewatch it. I've been following. I watched The Popcorn Planet. I watched Sloan. I thought it was great. I said, let me reach out and see what we can do to try and spread the word. I appreciate that he came over here and he talked to us. I thought that was really, really, really great. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. um you get tired of being tired, and when you get tired and fed up, you just start doing your thing. Absolutely, you start getting up a sign and start advocating for yourself. The rich stealing from the poor, story as old as time. Spivvy says his claims against her were rejected in LA Superior Court judge. I don't know about that, but reach out to him and ask him directly. I don't think they were rejected. Notice that it's never his fault. I'm not Kim. I don't know about that, April. I mean, again, he's out there. He's getting cease and desist. Let him tell his story. And if he wants to be heard, that's what we can do. That's what we're here for. We're allowed to let people get hurt. Doesn't mean that they're anything else but wanting to be heard at this point. And honestly, come on now. Is this the first time that we've heard of a story of Kim Kardashian taking advantage of somebody? I don't think so. There's been plenty of stories out there about this. Just saying. Uh, at least 5,000, 5,000 notches, and I'll be happy with that. I'm just saying. I mean, they don't run anything. They need to be told that, and stop abusing power, because I think that that's what they're known for. That poor man. I pray his day comes sooner or later, and he gets what he deserves. Absolutely, Bama. Thank you so much for that comment. I know, right? I know, I know. Let's see. Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, Spivvy. I will definitely do that. Daily Mail is not research, but thank you. Anyways, anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great one. I am out of here. Make sure you hit that like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and rabbits out.